Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial, and today we've got a video to highlight a new artifact that the museum has accessioned and has on display. And that is this cutaway model here of the complete 5-inch gun mount system and its various handling rooms and magazines. This object makes a really great teaching tool, especially in the location where we have it. We've got this and another model very similar to it, both by the same modeler, here in the officer's wardroom. We're in the lounge portion of the officer's wardroom, which is one of the few spaces on the ship that's actually accessible to guests with accessibility needs. So for example, folks in wheelchairs have issues navigating the ship, but they can get into the wardroom and they can get into this space. That means that they're not able to see a lot of the interior components of, say, the primary or secondary battery guns. And so having detailed models like this really allows them to experience the museum in a way that they previously haven't been able to. Museum ships, especially warships like this one, are not the most accessible spaces, with knee knockers to have to step over and really steep ladders to get above or below the main deck. It makes it really difficult for folks who aren't in the demographic of Navy sailors, typically young people who are fully able to do ladders and things like that. It's difficult for other folks to move around the ship. Not just folks in wheelchairs, but even younger folks, older folks, folks with injuries. There's all sorts of things that might limit you from being able to see an entire warship. And then some accessibility stuff is so difficult that for insurance purposes or other reasons, it just can't be on the tour route at all. So like some of the areas depicted in this model, even active duty sailors who come on the ship aren't allowed to get into those spaces. So models like this are excellent teaching tools. I can't remember if I've said it yet, but this one is made by Miles Markovich. He has made another model for the ship, but this one is entirely scratch built, using his own research, blueprints, manuals, measurements he took on the ship, and a few times when he called me to get measurements on the ship, he was able to basically draw all of the internal and external components of the 5-inch system in one of the CAD programs, print them on his 3D printer, assemble them, paint them, and create the product you see here. Add LED lighting to make it more visible to folks. And so it gives you a really great idea of what one of these guns looks like. This one in particular is one of the lower guns. We've got 2 twin mounts on the O1 level on each side of the ship. And as built, we had 3 more on the O2 level, super firing above those. Of course, 2 of those later mounts are removed in the 1980s in favor of missiles, but this one's depicting one of the ones that would have always been on the ship. So you can see the gun house up top where you would have had 14 sailors in there, under the command of a gun captain who's a senior enlisted person. Sometimes they're sailors. Some of these 5-inch gun mounts were actually manned by Marines. Can't forget them. Beneath that, you can see the upper handling room where ready service ammunition is stored in wartime. And this model does depict the ready service ammunition in there. It's also where ammunition is transferred from the dredger hoists to the hoists that actually take it up to the turret, the fuse setting projectile hoists and the powder hoists. Beneath that, you can see actually how that dredger hoist makes like this really wild S-shaped curve through the ship. And I don't believe we have 2 symmetrical dredger hoists on the entire ship. All of them take slightly different paths to get from their magazine to their upper handling room. Beneath that second deck, you can see this area, which is the splinter deck. Long time ago, we did a video where we crawled around inside of the splinter deck. Let us know in the comment section down below if you want to see another one like that. It's been a while since we've been up there. We've got some better lights now, so you might actually be able to see it this time around. Anyway, guests cannot get in there. It's 30 inches tall, and it's a bunch of 4-foot bays with like these 18-inch ovular manhole openings to get through. I am about the maximum size person who can make it through there, and it ain't comfortable. And you're sharing that space with electrical cabling, plumbing, and other stuff. And then, of course, below that, you can see beneath the armored deck where the actual magazines are, where the lower levels of the dredger hoists are, and he's done both the powder magazines and the shell storage. So it really gives you a great idea, better than the average visitor who comes on board, sees that there's a gun on deck, knows that that is a gun mount, but has no idea just how much of a system fed by dozens of guys deep inside the ship this ends up being. So this is the new one. Miles just brought it out. Let me show you the one that he gave us about a year and a half ago. This one is of the 16-inch turret. The actual exterior gunhouse portion of it is from an actual kit. But he took that existing kit, cut away the roof, 3D printed the inside of it, and then completely scratch built the entire, I'm going to call it a stalk, that the gunhouse sits on as it penetrates through the ship. And again, having these two models on display here in an accessible space really helps visitors out. And guess what? When Miles came to drop off his most recent kit, he started working on another one. Take a guess of what space or system he's going to make a model of in the future. Let us know in the comment section down below what you're thinking, because he took a bunch of pictures and measurements of it, and usually takes in between 1 and 2 years to completely build one of these. This one's going to be another scratch build. There isn't a kit of it out there. So I'd love to hear what you think he's doing, or what you think would be a great thing, especially for guests who can't get to these spaces to be able to see. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourselves. We really appreciate your support. There's a link in the description below if you'd like to donate to support the museum. You can also support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find out about us and the channel. Thanks for watching.